We got away with one tonight, didn't we? What was your initial thoughts on
Yeah.
the game?
Okay. So I have four things. First, I loved what was said. I'm from America, so I've heard that phrase. You're either reloading or either rebuilding or reloading, and I love that. And frankly, I think it's a mindset. I have four things really that really stood out, and I wrote them down here on my notes. First off, we are still too afraid to take that shot. It's like they're waiting for the
Yep.
perfect
Yep.
perfect pass to come in, the perfect cross to come in to take the shot. It don't have to look pretty as long as it goes in the net. I still think they're nervous they're trying to get that extra pass in. They're trying to make it the perfect dink to go in, and sometimes you just got to pull it down and pull the trigger. And
Yep.
frankly, I thought Solanke was going to start doing that, and he's kind of let me down with that. With just it's not always going to be perfect. You got to take the shot. Second thing, I have a lot of respect for Foster for what he did 2 years ago whenever Hugo got hurt and he came in and kind of filled in and did a pretty good job. But his awareness was an issue tonight. Where he's got to, you know, God bless him, but like he's got to have more awareness to that. And I don't know if that comes with more game time, but if he has another game like that, um, I'm not sure if I'm looking to maybe find someone else because his awareness was an issue. And the last thing kind of ties together. It's 2 points that kind of come together, and it's this. I get tactics are a huge deal. I mean, and a W is a W. I'll give props where props is deserved. But the thing that frustrated me tonight, yeah, the tactics weren't, amazing, but hustle and desire. That's the two words. Hustle and desire. I didn't see a lot of hustle and desire from players that really needed to show a little hustle and desire. Sar, man, I was so psyched on Sar. I thought that he was so athletic. I thought if he could get going, man, he could really be a future. But tonight, he just looked lost. And I understand looking lost, but like you got to hustle
Oh,
to go and get the ball and make plays. And didn't see that. Didn't see that a lot from Solanke. I mean, and again, I got to give him a little pass because he's because he wouldn't really serve very well. But we need to see a little bit of desire, a little bit of fire, a little bit of hustle to go and like take the game by the scruff of the neck and score a goal and make a play. Haven't seen that from Solanke, and I'll be honest, and I have a hard time saying this because I love this player so much. Son, like I love his positivity. I think he's great for this club, and I think whenever he is on, he is one of the best. But as the captain, that desire, that hustle, that desire to go and make a play needs to start with him. And I just haven't seen it. It's like he just kind of disappears. And I get you can't be everywhere at once, but I love Sonny. But it's got to start with him. And as a captain, maybe that comes out in practice. Maybe that comes out with in training with being vocal, but frankly maybe it just starts with him on the field, on the pitch, making the right moves. But anyway, those are my four things. Hustle and desire. That's the big
uh,
thing. I didn't see a lot of hustle and desire.
Ange defended his decision to make 8 changes tonight, saying, we have basically saying, we have a squad and we've got a lot of games coming up, and I need these players to be ready to step into these games, and I don't want to be throwing players into these games just out of necessity. I want to be using these players when they're ready to go, and to do that, they're going to need minutes. But on the flip side, there was a cup run on the line tonight, and we were a couple minutes away from going out, and we definitely did have a lack of fluidity today due to probably the lot of changes. So what did you think of Ange's defence for the changes that he made?
Well, I get it. It's a cup. Just kind of like what was said before. I think you can make changes. I think 8 is a little much. Um, let's try and 2 or 3 maybe changes in there, because at some point you got to find your squad and you got to have some some teamwork. And I know that takes game time, and you can train all you want, but there's nothing like getting some playing time in the games. So, I again, it's a thing where like a W is a W. So you got to give him credit. He it worked. He was able to. Yeah, it was ugly, but sometimes in cups you got to find ways to win ugly. And I wish that maybe not quite as few. You know, few changes. 8 is a lot, and maybe in the next round, he'll reassess and start to get out there. Who I really wish I would have seen out there, Mikey Moore. I wish,
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that he didn't get some PT, because if we're trying to see who we got, like, golly, let's put Mikey out there and see what he can do, because he looked good in the preseason. But anyway,
Yep.
that's how I guess defend it was. Maybe next time not quite as many changes, maybe like 2 or 3, and then I getting the goalkeeper out. But we talked about Foster.
And tell me something, Christian. I want to know from your side of things, from your American perspective, when you talk about hustle and desire, because I love those two words. What are you looking to see from our players? What do you want to see in the game
Well,
with regards to those
I'm
two
talking about
aspects?
taking players on, not being afraid to take players on,
Good.
and really just pulling down and pulling the trigger
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I know we didn't get it into the box quite as well tonight, but like you look at like even the derby, here this last Sunday, like we had some chances where you got to pull the trigger, and we just didn't. And I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if they're being coached that way to say like, hey, no, get that extra pass and get that in. But just really just hustle and the desire to win the game. I'll tell you, it's kind of one of those things where like I'll see I'll see it and I'll think, oh man, that player didn't hustle very well. But then I'll see it and I'll go, like, look at like Kulusevski. When
Yeah.
Kulusevski came in tonight, like he had desire to win the game. He
Mm-hmm.
had the desire to hustle and do whatever it took to get the ball and get it into position to make the play. And you
Definitely.
look what happened with Spence. Spence, he came up there and he had hustle and desire to be in the spot and make the run, and make the play. And you look at those two
I love
guys
that.
that come on, hustle and desire to score the goal and win the game. And then you got to give props to Johnson. It's good to see him, get that
Yep.
he had some nerves there at the end to put it away, and props to him, and all credit to him for doing that. But that's how I would say hustle and desire. That's what it looks like. It's running hard, getting in position, and not being afraid to take people on and pull the trigger and take a shot.
Christian, great to have you on, mate. Thanks for calling in, and we'll
Awesome.
see you soon.
Take
Awesome.
care,
Thank you,
buddy.
guys.